Believe it or not, but there used to be a time where Virgin Atlantic was operating the Airbus A340-600 and Herpa was making models of those aircraft. What that looks like, we'll find out right after the drop. And with that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we, as mentioned, will take a closer look at an Airbus A340-600 of Virgin Atlantic. At the front of the box we have a lovely image of the aircraft in real life, and underneath that we have the Virgin Atlantic branding. Then on the back side of the box we have the same image once more and the original dimensions of the aircraft, as well as some additional information. So that's it for the box. Let's take a closer look inside and at the aircraft model itself. And here she is, the Airbus A340-600 of Virgin Atlantic, in the livery Virgin used when this aircraft was first delivered to the airline in 2002. As far as I could make out, the livery was then in use until 2006. The model itself was made by Herpa in 2003. Now let us take a closer look at this model to see what it has to offer, and we start off with the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer have the Virgin Atlantic branding, and on top of that we have the last two letters of the registration code. The full registration code we then find on the fuselage, where we also have a, well, let's call it an interesting company slogan. What we unfortunately are missing is any detailing around the APU exhaust. At the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage we then have the writing of Virgin Atlantic and the aircraft type specification. Between the cabin door and the cockpit windows we then have, very typical for Virgin Atlantic, this pin-up girl, also known as the Lady Scarlet, carrying the Union Jack, underneath which we find the name of the aircraft. And that's pretty much the highlight for the cockpit section, because other than that we simply have the cockpit windows. That is rather disappointing. The engine nacelles also don't really burst off any printed detailing, if we are honest. I mean, they have been given the Virgin red coloring, which looks nice, and they have the silver leading edge. And they have this quite interesting slogan, 4 engines for a long haul, which kind of proves that this aircraft is really coming out of a different time. The physical detailing of the engines is overall, I think, also rather nice. Although when we look into the engines from the front, we can nicely see the engine fan blades, but I think it is looking much too metallic. This should be in a darker grey tone. But let's move on and let us take a closer look at the wings, starting off with the top side, where we can see the different flaps, slats and spoilers have been carved out very nicely, and we have some different shades of grey for additional detailing, but that's about it for printed details on the top side. On the underside, that looks pretty decent. Here we also find the full registration code of the aircraft. However, I'm not a huge fan of the way the wings have actually been mounted into the fuselage. Obviously, that's how Herpa did it in the past. Nowadays, that looks much better. What, however, already is up to today's standards are the winglets, which also carry the Union Jack. Then we can also quickly take a look at the landing gear. That is the standard landing gear that Herpa used for all the Airbus A340s at the time. The only thing I would say here is that the plastic is rather dark in tone, which I would have preferred in the engines. Here I would have preferred a bit of a lighter grey tone, but honestly it still looks rather nice. The only thing I'm missing here are some printed details. And then last but not least, we do also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here in the backside of the aircraft and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Airbus A340-600 of Virgin Atlantic in scale 1 to 500 by Herpa Wings. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Well, first of all, I'm just happy that there is actually any Virgin Atlantic models out there that you can get your hands on, because that alone is difficult enough. The print quality of the aircraft model is good, although it could benefit from a few more details. The physical detailing is also not bad. I very much like the shape of the mold of the A340 from Herpa, but I'm not a huge fan of how the wings are mounted. That looks better in more recent releases. The model itself is of course from 2003, so it does have a few weaknesses, but overall it's actually not that bad, and it's not much worse than what Herpa does today. I would hope that Herpa one day picks up a new Virgin Atlantic license, but until then I would say yes, this aircraft model is worth having in one's collection. Now with that we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like, that would be very much appreciated, and of course if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe, that would be absolutely awesome. With that I'd like to say thank you so much for watching, hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.